A question I get a lot is, what is a Chapter 7 bankruptcy? Chapter 7 bankruptcy is a procedure within the bankruptcy court allowing people to eliminate debt and potentially keep all of their assets or most of their assets. There's a difference between exempt assets and non-exempt assets. Different counties, different states have different exemption levels. In San Diego County, we practice out of the Southern District of California for the U.S. Bankruptcy Court. In Riverside County, we practice out of the Central District of the U.S. Bankruptcy Court. The rules can be different, although the exemptions are fairly similar. One of the main components of a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is means testing. A question I get a lot is, what is a means test? A means test is basically balancing your expenses versus your income. How much income do you have? How many expenses do you have to live? We're talking about necessities. You can't have expenses for things that wouldn't be considered necessities, such as taking your spouse out to dinner once a week for $1,000 is not going to be a necessity. However, going to dinner once in a while, paying for expenses for your children, such as recreational expenses and various other expenses, would be considered necessities, and you can use those in the means test. In other words, you're trying to show that your necessities outweigh or are equal to your income, and therefore you have no money to pay your debts. By having no money to pay your debts, you could qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and eliminate all the debts you want to get rid of. The process of a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is fairly simple in the sense that there are three main dates, three main events that occur in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy that you would want to be aware of and that would give you an idea of how long it takes. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy has, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have a filing date. That's the date you file the bankruptcy. That's an important date. It's an important date for some people more than others. If you have a repo man chasing you around looking for your car, then you want that bankruptcy filed yesterday because you don't want him to take your car. If you have a wage garnishment on your paycheck and they're taking money out of your paycheck every week that you need to live, you can stop that garnishment, you can stop that repo man by filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So the date you file would be very critical. It also might relate to a foreclosure. If you have a foreclosure pending on your house, I have people who come in here 2 hours before they're going to get foreclosed on. Now granted, that's not the situation I like to see and not the situation they probably want to be in, but it does happen. We are able to, in most situations, file the bankruptcy and eliminate that foreclosure sale and stop it and save that person's house. The second item that comes into play after the filing date is the creditors meeting. Everyone's required to go to what's called the 341A creditors meeting. Just like the number Chapter 7, just like the number 341A, these numbers refer to sections in the code book, in the bankruptcy code, which would relate to talking about these type of things when they happen. What is a Chapter 7? We'll talk later maybe about a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, but those things are different in nature. The creditors meeting is something you are forced to attend as a debtor. The debtor attends it, and it is a question and answer period for the creditors if they want to show up. Not very often, seldom would be the word I'd use, a creditor will show up. Most creditors realize that they are not going to get a dime in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. No one would file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy that knows what to do, and no attorney would file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy if they thought it wasn't going to work. That would be ridiculous. So the Chapter 7 bankruptcy that I have filed over the last 27 years, almost every one of them has gone through. That's because we research the income, we research the expenses, we have it nailed down before it's filed with the court. So the creditors meeting should be a smooth process. You should be in and out of there in no more than from when your name's called to when you walk out of the door, 5 minutes, maybe less. The next date that occurs out of the three dates I talked about, the filing date we've talked about the creditors meeting, and we talk about the discharge date. The discharge date is the end of the bankruptcy. The simple way to say that is the official day. You go that way, your debts go that way. It's over with. That's the discharge. Some people that might have had military experience, when you get discharged from the military, you're done. That's the end of the bankruptcy, is the discharge. So start to finish, the filing date to the discharge date is 90 days. So the filing date occurs, about 30 days later you have your creditors meeting, and about 60 more days will go pass in time till the discharge is issued for a total of 90 days start to finish until your Chapter 7 bankruptcy is completed. What is the means test and how can I have one done or have one completed for me? all you need to do is contact our office. In our San Diego County office in Carlsbad, you could call, and we could do that over the phone or in person. In our Riverside County office in Murrieta, you could call or come in. We could do it over the phone or in person. Give you an idea of where you stand on the means test, and if you do qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, or maybe how we can qualify you in the future by maneuvering some of your assets, maneuvering your income in a way that may be able to make you eligible for the type of bankruptcy you need to file.